Hey y'all, today I just wanted to talk about several exciting things that are coming up, namely the book launch for The Last Lie. If you are following me, you probably already know that I came out with The Last Safehouse on June the 22nd of 2025. And all of my books have come to me through dreams that I had, and this particular dream that I had that inspired The Last Safehouse was just a powerful dream. And I woke up and I literally when I have these dreams like this, I write down everything I can remember about them when I first wake up so that I don't forget them. So I literally was writing over a page of everything I could remember, which is a lot. Usually it's just a couple of sentences or something to jog my memory. But the story behind this was just so rich, and this young girl who lost her parents tragically on her 18th birthday. They're murdered in their home, and she runs to their safe house. And then all that she has to go through, and all the safe houses, she runs from one to the other. And there's one man is the only person she can trust is chasing her, but she doesn't realize that he actually, excuse me, is a good guy. But because her parents were just murdered, she doesn't trust anybody. So this dream came to me that became this novel. But y'all, literally probably 10 or 15 pages of writing the novel, maybe the first couple of chapters, I realized that there was so much rich material here, and this has never happened to me before. Usually I have a dream, I write the book. I have a dream, I write the book. I've written 7 books to date, and every one of them was a separate dream. But on this one, it was so rich that I thought, this is just too much material for one book. So I ended up kind of, in my mind, outlining how I could create it into a series. And the Last Safehouse series was born. So I finished the book with Krista. This is the girl on the cover, and Oliver is the operative that ends up trying to help her. And this is their story. Starting with her story, but it's a dual point of view, forced proximity, true love. And so I'm really proud of that. I had never written a romantic thriller before, and I was very intimidated by doing that. But y'all, like literally before I finished the first chapter, I was getting so into it and I was loving it. And that's when I started, my mind started thinking, oh, you don't want to leave this after one book. So what's never happened before is that I took the seed of that dream and created the first book, but then I started developing the ideas for more books. So the second book is coming out October 22nd. And this is the second book. This is a proof. That's why the band's on it. Of course, the band's not going to be there when it comes out. But this is called The Last Lie. It's book 2 in the Last Safehouse series. This character on here, his code name is Ironclad. He's one of the operatives in the firm, which is the agency that you'll be introduced to when you read the first book. They are the secret government agency that are called to go in and handle things when traditional ways of handling bad people does not work out. And so they're not always called in to make peace. They're called in to people and get rid of them. So you meet all the members of the firm in the Last Safehouse. They, for the most part, were part of my dream. And that's why I thought, oh gosh, well, what about all these other people? That would be really interesting to get to know them. So the first character after the first one, the second character you're going to get to know is Ironclad, John Mark Lavoie. He is an operative in the firm, and this is a completely different story. I know you have, and I have. We've all read series that you read the first one and you love it and it's great, and so you jump right into the second one and it's just like the first one. Have you ever done that? That's so annoying to me. I'm sorry. I know I'm a writer and I shouldn't criticize other writers, but I don't like stories that are the exact same as the first story, just like a different setting, different names, different whatever. So this is completely different story. You can see in the background for the first one, it's a city background. She has to run from, I think it starts in Atlanta. I'm bad, my memory's horrible, y'all. But and then they run to Paris, and then they run to other places. I don't want to do spoiler alert, but they run to several places where she has safe houses. But in this one, there's only one safe house, and it is a frozen cabin in the remote jungles is the wrong word, Arctic of Alaska. And so he has to protect not only himself in this one, but also someone else that he meets. And he meets her. This isn't as much of a slow burn as the first book. He meets her literally in the prologue of the book, okay? They meet, they are just mesmerized by each other. They spend a wonderful wild night together. A little bit of a spoiler alert, but it's in the prologue, so it's not like it's not gonna ruin the whole book. It's part of the premise of the book. Anyway, due to circumstances I won't go into right now because it would be a spoiler alert, they leave that night without names, without knowing anything about the other. It's literally a one night stand. And then chapter 1 begins a year into the future. Well, during this year, they could not stop thinking about each other. And he is undercover. When he meets her, he's undercover, but then he goes back undercover. So he's been undercover for 2 years. And this huge undertaking, because normally when the firm is called in, they go in, they do their business, and they go home. Like a 1 day or maybe at the longest a 1 week mission. But he had to go undercover because this really deep mission's the only word that can come to my mind right now. But so they have to, he has to go undercover to try to get to the heart of this organization so that he can, the head of the organization. Anyway, his undercovers come to a head, and it really is going to be the last night he's going to be undercover, because the firm is supposed to rush in at the last minute, and they're going to arrest everybody and get rid of the ones that need to be gotten rid of as the head of the organizations. But something happens, and I'm not going to tell you what. I don't want to spoil it for you. Something that he didn't expect, and I don't think that you as a reader will expect it, but maybe you will. I mean, some of y'all are smarter than others. Some of y'all figured out some of the things in The Last Rescue, and so I've tried to make this one the next one a little bit harder to figure out. We'll see. Anyway, things kind of blow up, like literally blow up, and this all happens towards the beginning of the book. And so Ironclad is like his name. Ironclad, his code name. I usually call him Iron for short. But John Mark Lavoie ends up having to take someone and get undercover to protect her and to protect himself, because his life's in danger now because his cover's been blown. And so it gets really intense before it smooths itself out. Anyway, this book is, if you are into the tropes and the arcs, this is enemies to lovers to enemies. Lovers to enemies to lovers. I said it backwards, because they start out being lovers, but then they kind of become enemies. And because I always write in happily ever afters, I just think it's just almost a sin to not finish a book with a happily ever after. So any book you read of mine is pretty much going to be a happily ever after. Anyway, so it gets pretty intense, but this has been one of my favorite books to write. Actually, this whole series has. I've always enjoyed writing in multiple genres, and I'll continue to do that. But writing this series has literally made me think, maybe I should just write romantic thrillers, because I'm really loving this. I'm one of those writers that when I start writing something, it's hard to make myself stop. Sometimes I'll write, 6, 8, 10 hours at the time, when my health holds up to allow me to do that, because I do have health issues. But anyway, the next book in the series, the third book, because I'm going to show you again, the first book, and then the second book, this comes out October 22nd, by the way, October 22nd, which, let me put a plug in here, is my mom's 90th birthday. She lives with me, and she loves the series so much that I wanted to do something special. So I'm dedicating the second book in the series to her. It's not my first book I've dedicated to her, but that's her birthday. October 22nd is her birthday. So since this was going to be ready by October, I thought, well, I'm going to honor her and do it for her birthday. In addition to that, I'm doing a huge giveaway, which I'm going to be giving away 10 books and also a bunch of prizes to go with it. And if you'd like to be part of that, jump and follow me on TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram. All three of those are doing a multi-platform giveaway. So jump on any one of those. They all have a pin post at the top of it, so you can jump in real quick. The deadline for that is October 21st. And I'll be announcing the winner on October 22nd, which is the day that the book launches. Okay, having said that, now I've already begun writing the third book. I know the title. I've already seen the cover. It's not completed. It's maybe 80 to 90% done for the cover. And y'all, it just blew me away. I don't know if you even noticed this, because if you're not in the industry, maybe you wouldn't. But the first book is mostly red. It does have black, but it's also got a lot of the red. That's the intense color of it. The second book, is going to be mainly blue. I don't have the back done yet, so I won't show that. But the blue is going to be the overall kind of theme color for the second book. And the third book, the theme color is going to be gold. Excuse me. And, sorry. You'll understand why when I start promoting it, because it's going to be really something different. It's going to be a little above and beyond. It'll be the middle book in the series, because there's going to be 5 books total of what I've outlined in my mind so far. So the middle book, which will be the third book, is going to be a little bit above and beyond. And so the color for it, for the theme color for the cover, is going to be gold. And you'll understand why, like I said, when I get to it. I'm revealing, actually, the title for the third book, which I already have figured out, will be revealed on October the 7th, which is only like a week away. So I'm super excited about that. The title came to me, gosh, months ago. Actually, I had the first title I figured out, and then the second one almost right away. And then very shortly after that, I had this figured out for the third one. The third character that is going to be highlighted in the third book is going to be the character named Viper. His code name is Viper. So if you read The Last Safe House, you're familiar with these names that I'm calling out. Viper's kind of an odd dude, and he might be my favorite. I like weird people, different people that are not mainstream people. I don't go for the kind of typical people. I guess I'm a little weird and I'm a little nerdy, and so I like people like that. But Viper's a little bit to himself, and you'll find out why. And the next book, the third book, I almost said the name of it. The third book is going to be completely different. Also, completely different story, completely different settings. But the interesting thing about it is that it's going to not just be a dual point of view. Both of these books are dual point of view. You've got the male and the female characters' point of view, and the chapters alternate back and forth. The Last Safe House is not always a different chapter, and you'll find out why when you read it. I had to do it a little different because it's set by days, because she's stuck in the safe house for the first so many days. And so I did it, day 1, day 2. But anyway, pretty much is chapter to chapter, male to female. And this one is chapter to chapter, male to female, alternating back and forth. But with the next book, the third book, there's going to be 4 points of view. And I don't want to do a spoiler alert. You'll understand why when you read the book. It might will probably end up being a little bit thicker than the first 2 books because of the quad, is that how you say it? Quad point of view. I've never done this before. I don't know. But it's going to be a very intricately interwoven story. Actually, 2 intricately interwoven stories. And it's not going to be completely 2 different storylines. They're going to be interchanged and interwoven very closely, and that's why I decided it needed 4 points of view, because you really have to get in the mind of the character and to find out their motivation and everything. I like, the first person point of view. And so it's going to be 4 people. And it's going to be just kind of a blast. It's going to be intense. And there's going to be some friction between 2 of the people in the story, between Viper and one of the other operatives. Actually, kind of 2 of the other operatives, one intensely and the other secondarily. Going to be intense, and there's going to be some trouble in paradise at the firm. So we'll see what Richard, the boss man of the firm, how he's going to deal with that. I love these characters, y'all. I've just gotten so attached to them. I feel like they're friends of mine now. And while I'm on the subject of characters, I would like to say, if you're on TikTok or you're on Instagram or you're on Facebook and you follow any kind of indie author platform at all, there's a lady called, her name's Diana, but we all know her as Mama D. And if you want to find her on TikTok, her handle is Mama D 1452. There's a lot of people that are trying to mimic her and copy her and steal her now. So make sure you get Mama D 1452. That's her handle. And she is a wonderful indie author advocate, and she does so much for us, and she's got 30-something thousand followers. So if you don't get the right Mama D, she'll have much fewer followers, so make sure you get the right one. Anyway, she has really elevated my platform as an indie author. I tend to be a reclusive writer. Between just my weird personality and my health issues, I'm not a real social animal. And so I've just kind of, in the past, just kind of put my books out there, and people were buying them, and word of mouth got out. And so I've done okay. But I jumped into TikTok, actually, ironically, when they shut it down for 12 hours. And so when they opened it back up, I thought, you know what, I almost missed my opportunity. I better start posting and getting some things out there before TikTok's gone forever. I don't think it'll ever be gone forever now, but at the time I did. So when they opened back up for business, I opened for business, and that's when I started posting. And it wasn't too long, maybe a couple of months after that, I just stumbled upon Mama D's page, and I saw what a wonderful indie author advocate she was. And so I sent her a DM and asked her, would she be willing to read one of my books? And I was kind of afraid to do that, and because I'd never done that before. I never asked anyone to read my book before, just kind of put stuff out there, And anyway, she's like, of course, lady, send it to me. She was just overwhelmingly wonderful and sweet. And so I sent her my historic romance. I'll grab it real quick and show you which one it was. I sent her my historic romance, Beneath the Tainted Sky. It's been by far one of the reader favorites. It's a little bit of a chunker, and I knew that she liked chunkers. She likes thick books because she speed reads. And it's a very harrowing story. And so I thought she might like that because she likes drama. So I sent her this book with a PR package. And she did a promo for it, and she pushed it out there, and I literally could not believe the response that I got from it. My followership, is that how you say it, started just growing, and I started having people contacting me, wanting to know, where can I buy the book? It sounds great. And I'm getting chill bumps talking about this, y'all. So Mama D literally just kind of put me on the map, I guess you could say. So I owe her a lot, and since then she's done so many more things for me. She got me into Shelf Love Atlanta, which is a pretty much exclusive indie author only romantic bookstore just outside of Atlanta. And so I went up for the grand opening of that. They had two of my books, I think, both of mine, because they're more into steamy romance. So I took up there my 2 steamy. I only have 2 steamy romances. A lot of people think I write a bunch of smut. I don't. I only have 2 steamy romances. One is Till the Tide. That's actually one of my favorite stories that I've written. And the other one is the one I just showed you, Beneath the Tainted Sky. So these are both a little steamy. So I put those in the bookstore, Shelf Love Atlanta. They also have online, shelfloveatlanta.com. If you would like to order online, you can do that. All of the books from there are signed by the author, or they have a book plate from the author, and they all come with swag bags. So great place to shop. Anyway, I went up there for the grand opening, and Till the Tide actually sold out while I was there that day, and Beneath the Tainted Sky was not far behind it. And then also at the same time, I had sent Mama D, when this book finally came out a few months later, I sent her a copy of this book, and she got me at the last minute, kind of slid in the convention that we were having going on in Columbus, Georgia. So the timing for the convention just happened to work out the same week that this came out. This came out June 24th, and the convention was that Saturday of the same week. So she got me slid in there at the last minute. And so she's just done so much for me, and I wanted to show my appreciation to her. And so I created a character, Mama D. The lady's name in the book is Diana, and she's also known as Mama D in here, but she's actually part of the firm, and not as an operative, but as in real life. Let me back up. In real life, Mama D, her real job is an ER nurse, and so I thought she would appreciate kind of staying true to that. Instead of an ER nurse, though, I elevated her to, she's the team physician in here. I haven't even told her that yet, so if she's watching this, you're the team physician, Mama D. So there is a team physician because it's so secretive. They have their own kind of hospital, basically, where they can treat the people that get hurt. Anyway, Mama D is in that, and as often happens, as I'm writing a character, very frequently that character takes on a life of their own. And Mama D's character, she's so full of life and so warm and so loving in real life, and so her character naturally had to be the same way, and she took on her own life in that. So not only is she going to be in, or already is in The Last Lie, but she's going to be in every book going forward. She's going to be playing a very large part in the rest of the series, and she has a very pivotal, important role in the series, and that's going to culminate with the very last book in the series. I've already got these lined out in my head. The only one I haven't actually got lined out in my head, I know the last book, but the fourth book, I don't have everything lined out in my head for that yet. But the one I'm writing now, the third book, I'm on about chapter 5 writing it, and so I've got a ways to go, but like I said, I've got it lined out. I've got the beat sheet done. All I really need to do is I need more time in my day to be able to write, and I'm super excited about it. If you have any questions about the writing process, or you know, my thought process when I'm writing, or anything at all, or you know, a video that you might like to see me talk about, please put it in the comments below, and I'll be checking those, and give me some ideas for some future things coming up. I've been thinking about doing a separate video for each of my books, because I have a pretty decent, you know, I've got 7 books I've written, so I've got a pretty decent backlist, and I thought about doing a separate video for each of those. So if that's something you'd be interested in, knowing a little bit more about my other books, most of those are standalones, so I'd be glad to do that. But just let me know. I hope you enjoyed this, a deep dive into the Last Safehouse series. If you're not already reading it, please find it. They're on all of the platforms, Goodreads, Amazon. I publish wide is what we call it. And so it's at Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, Kobo, the library services. I mean, literally there's like 27 retailers that carry all the books, and you can get the hardcover on Amazon. You can get paperback and digital on Amazon or any of the other platforms. So any questions, please let me know. Thanks for staying with me today. I love talking about my books and talking about my writing and talking about the writing process. So if you have any interest in any of those things, please check out the books, and you know, come back here and see what we publish next. Thank you. Bye-bye.